Welcome back to Elite Dangerous with the Rude Man, and we're back on Observation Post Epsilon, our last leg. It was the fourth leg of our journey, and we're getting ready to take off again. We gotta get out of this spaceport. That's driving me crazy. We need to get back out in space. I'm gonna fire up the crew here in a moment. Before we do, I need to talk about that crew. I use a program called Voice Attack, and with Voice Attack, I've got about 14 different packages of voices, and the most common ones are William Shatner, Captain Kirk. I got Brent Spiner, that's Data. I've got Lieutenant Troy, the Counselor Troy. I've got Worf. Now the Worf one, though, none of these characters are the Star Trek characters. They're not portraying them. They're portraying other people. William Shatner is named Orion, for example. I've got many others. I've got Brian Blessed. I've got the guy that played Q, Delancey. There's many of them, and you can select them for different positions on your ship. And the reason I'm saying this, I've had some people ask me what that's all about. Like, what do the voices do for me? What do they, how do they work? So what you do is you set them up for a particular thing. For example, I've got William Shatner set as my number one. He's my first in command. Then I've got Brett Spiner set up for helm. Then you've got engineering, you've got tactical, you've got science officer, and you have operations. So there's different posts, and they each have different jobs, and they have different dialogue that they share with you in that post. So the important thing is, when I tell the ship to leave the station, I'm not doing anything. The crew takes over. The number one gives the command to the helm. The helm flies the ship out of the station. Operations pulls up the landing gear. In other words, my crew is actually doing all the work. I'm not touching my HOTAS at all until they say that they've finished their chore and the ship is mine. Now I have control of the ship. But even then, all I have to do is tell them to go ahead at quarter speed or something, and all I'm doing is flying the ship. I'm just turning the ship. That's all I'm doing. They're doing all the other work. They control how fast the ship goes, whether it's being prepared for landing, any of that stuff. When I get to the next station, all I have to do is tell the number one to dock us. And again, the crew takes over. They drop the landing gear. They stop the engines. They take us in at a quarter speed, and they land the ship. When the ship is landed, they automatically go and refuel it and do any repairs that are needing to be done. When all of that is done and we're safely docked, they then say that the command is now given back to me. So I'm literally doing nothing. My crew is doing everything. And they're giving each other orders and that kind of thing. I just wanted to clear that up because a lot of people ask me, what do they actually do? Are they just voices in the background and I'm still doing all the work? No, they're actually doing everything for me. Now, I don't always fly that way. I'm doing it for entertainment value right now, but normally I don't. Most of the time I'm flying myself. I don't even have them running. So I wanted to clear that up. We're going to get ready to go. Let's go to let's do it. I did that. Let's do it their way. So I'll talk to my number one. Open galaxy map.
Stellar cartography. Just think of all those places, those faraway, unreachable corners of the galaxy, the uncharted areas of space.
All right, he gets a little long-winded. So I'm going to control this. So I go over to my bookmarks, and I'll go down to where we're going. We're headed for a station called Omega Mining. It's another asteroid base, believe it or not. We've hit a lot of asteroid bases on this trip. And if we look at it, it's another short kind of a jaunt. It's only 844 light years. So it shouldn't take us long to get there. It should be pretty uneventful. the interesting thing about Omega is that was the first place where I met a lot of the people on Distant Worlds. We got all the way to Omega before I started playing with other characters. We all met there, and we had to do some mining. And most of the people that became the 12th Fleet after Distant Worlds met here at Omega Mining. So it's going to be interesting to get back there. It'd be one of the first times I've been back since Distant Worlds. So it's already plotted in there. All we need to do is get out of here. So I'll talk to number 1 again. Close the map.
Closing cartography.
Departure, handover.
Aye, aye, sir. Departure procedures initiating. Pre-launch diagnostic checks. All systems nominal. Crew, stand by for launch.
Yes, sir. Powering engines.
Acknowledged. Charging shields.
Helm control.
Yes, sir.
You now have the car. The ship is yours.
Understood. Launching now. Ascending.
Thrusters. Now.
Intelligent thrusters engaged.
Becoming elite is a dangerous journey.
Handoff complete.
Captain, the ship is yours.
All right, the ship is
You're
mine.
welcome, Captain.
Oh, thank you. Getting back to voice attack, it works in many different ways. You might think about combat. There's a lot of commands you can do in combat. You do have a tactical officer. And so you can go into an alert status, either green, red, or yellow. The other thing is, now I don't use voice attack a lot in combat, except for I can tell them what subsystem to target. So if we're in combat, I can tell them to target the FSD drive or the power plant or the shields, and they will automatically target that on the ship that I am attacking. And that comes in handy if you're busy in combat. I don't have to do any button pushing or anything. I just have to tell them to target whatever I want them to target. They target it, and I start firing. So that's kind of handy. That's about the only thing I use voice attack for in combat, though. So anyway, let's get on the road. Full impulse.
Maximum impulse engaging.
Power to engines.
Power to engines.
Boost engines.
Afterburners.
Again, I'm not touching the controls at all.
All clear. Have a safe trip, Commander.
As soon as we're done being mass locked, we can take off. Engage Super Cruise.
Super Cruise drive engaging.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Now, again, one of the only things they can't do is steer the ship. That's what I do. And again, when I'm normally playing, I fly myself. This is just for entertainment value. So we're going to line up to our next destination. And they can do some certain things. Like I can tell them, engage safety jump on my mark.
Waiting.
And so they will wait until I am lined up with it. And as soon as I am, mark,
Jumping.
Drive charging.
full impulse.
Full impulse.
first jump. Again, it's only about 800 light years. I get almost 80 light years a jump, so we're only about 9 or 10 jumps away, of which we just finished our first one. Full impulse.
Scanning now.
Full impulse.
So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue on, and if there's something interesting, you can join me. If not, I'll see you at Omega. Engage safety jump.
Charging frameshift
Five
drive.
charging. Four, three, two,
So on the first system that we came to, I found a water world, so I'm going to go in and scan it. Now, obviously, we're on the highway, so it's already been discovered. But that doesn't matter to the people you're going to sell it to in the station. The only thing that matters to them, whether it's been discovered before, previously by somebody else, is the amount that they're willing to pay for the information. Obviously, if nobody's discovered it, you're going to get paid a lot more money for it. Even still, you're going to get paid for scanning. Stop engines.
Affirmative. Slowing to a full engine stop.
All right, let's do a quick scan. We'll shoot some probes out. I got 7. I just shot 5.
surface scanned by 50%.
There's the back side. There's the front side. So let's see. Back side, front side. Front side's pretty well taken care of. Let's get the back here. I'm going to go a little further. And let's just see. I think we only need just the side here. So let's go out a little ways. Like maybe there. Shoot one off. That's the 6th one. If this works, I'll still get my bonus. That should get it. Maybe. No, it didn't. Well, I missed that one, but that's okay. Let's send another one out. I've already blew it, so it doesn't matter if I start shooting them. Let's see if this one gets it. My mistake on this one was it's a smaller planet, and I was shooting way too far out. Instead of going clear out here, I should have gone closer to that spot right there. And that still didn't get it. Might as well spam them now. I've already missed my bonus. And they're free, so what the heck? Say, Rudy, you say, you suck at this. Yeah, that's okay. I'm still having fun. Actually, most of the time I get it without any trouble. There we go.
Surface scan complete.
Alrighty then. So, we scanned a water world. We'll get paid a little bit more money for that. It's the only real reason to do it. So, hey, it's time to jump. So let's go to our next destination. Full impulse.
Maximum impulse. Engaged.
One more thing about voice attack. When I jump, I could tell them to jump to the next I could tell them to jump to the next system, But you notice I say do a safety jump to the next system.
From one warrior to another. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Leo Tolstoy.
To get to the next system, you need to be going full speed, and then it spools up your jump drive, and you take off. Now, when you do, you're still in full speed, which means when you get to the other end, you're going to fly right into the star. If I tell them to do a safety jump, they shut the engines down on the other end so I don't slam into the planet or the star. So that's why I use safety jump. Engage safety jump.
Preparing for jump.
Okay, interestingly enough, when I get to the other end, I have to scan the system, and most people have to do that manually by hitting a button. I don't. Voice Attack will do that for me.
Vectors. Hyperspace velocity engaged.
All right, so there we are.
Scanning.
And Voice Attack is scanning for me. 75%. We're going to scoop a little bit of fuel.
75%.
I'm going to take off again, and if I find anything interesting, I will come back. So this is pretty interesting. Look at that star cluster right in front of that nebula in front of us. Doesn't that look cool? That's pretty dense in there. Anyway, it looks like we're heading in that direction, so I will be back. We are getting closer to that nebula. There's one off to the left as well, but this one's. It looks like it's either in. Well, it might be. It might be in front of that star cluster. It's hard to tell. I've only got about 3 more jumps to go. Engage safety jump.
Jumping.
Left panel.
Jumping to next system.
%.
Scanning area.
75%.
Yes, sir. 75%.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
What system map?
Displaying map.
Close the map.
Exiting map.
So we're getting very close to that nebula, And it looks like we've actually entered that star cluster. As you can see, that it's pretty dense out there. And there's that other nebula that was in the distance. Pretty cool. Engage safety jump. So there are about 30 bodies in this system, but I've already been here. So we've probably already scanned them. I'm just going to head right into the station. Open system map.
Hey, be careful where you're going.
Omega mining operation. $75%.
75%.
Now there's a view for you. That star cluster out there is really lighting up the night sky, if you can call it sky. It's space. But there's that other nebula we've been looking at. Very interesting. I like that blue color out there. Not just of the rings, but of the nebula itself. Pretty blue. Looks like we got some ice rings on the outside or the middle, and metallic rings on the inside. Of course, we've been here before. Memory is yes. Distant Worlds. We had a good time on Distant Worlds. It was a long trip, but it was a lot of fun. Met some good people. Disengage.
Disengaging.
Boost engines.
Boost activated.
Romeo Alpha. We look forward to receiving your destination, Commander. Please follow docking procedures and enjoy your visit.
Stop engines.
All stop.
Number 1, take us in.
Acknowledged, Captain. Commencing docking sequence. Helm control.
Yes, sir.
The ship is yours to dock.
Thank you.
1/4 impulse.
Quarter impulse. Engaging.
Access granted. Set down on landing pad 2-4. You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
You're welcome.
Diverting power to systems. Gear down.
Landing thrusters.
Readying landing thrusters. Preparing to dock. Touchdown.
And we have arrived. Enter hangar.
Affirmative, Captain.
Open galaxy map.
Hey, be careful where you're going.
So that ends our fifth leg to Omega section. And let's take a look at what we got in store for us. So far, if we go look at where we came from, our home system, we are 5,556 light years away from home. And that means we still have about 20,000 light years to go. Let's take a look. I might be off a little bit with that, but let's just see. We got 16,000 light years left to go, which is still about 3 times farther than we've already came. So, next in store for us after Omega is going to be Eagle Landing, I believe. And it's going to be a little bit further than this last leg. So leg number 6 is going to be about 1,500. And I may actually like to speed this up and do 2 legs in the next episode. So after that to Rohini, from where we're at Omega, is about 25. So it's another 1,000 light years. So we got about, I might try to do that. Rohini has a pretty nice station. So we might make 2 legs in one in the next episode. But that's a story for another day. So let's rest, relax, have a little fun with the crew, and I'll see you next time. Happy flying.